Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? One more time here in podcast number 3.
I don't know.
Podcast number 3 with New Capital Christian. This is Gio, and we have our super guest, John. What's up, John? How's it going today?
It's going good, man. Thanks for having me down here.
Of course, man. Of course. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What do you like to do? And yeah.
So John Constantine, originally from Florida, moved here about almost 2 years now, but been in real estate. That's how I met you guys since 2015. So I've done a lot of fix and flips, and here I moved out here because my wife, she got a contract at doing ballroom dancing in Vegas on the Strip, on the Las Vegas Boulevard. So,
awesome, man. Yeah. Awesome. How do you like Vegas compared to Florida?
Man, so two different types of extremes. You know, one's freaking humid as hell.
Yeah.
With the hotness. And then the other one is just, man, dry. You open up the oven and you just feel that heat, dude. It's crazy.
That's a good description.
But I still can't figure out which one I'd prefer, because I feel like out here I prefer, but because I grew up in Florida, like I'm just used to the humidity. And out here it's like mentally fucks with you that, you know, you're just outside, hot as fuck, but you're not sweating. So it's like
what's going
interesting.
on?
So it's like mentally you're locked in a freaking, you know, like I said, an oven.
Yeah.
And, you're burning. So I don't know yet. We'll see.
Figure it out.
Perfect.
You won't get used to it. If people say, "Oh, you'll get used to it," like, no, you won't.
You don't. You know, and I still think it's super hot. I've been living here for what, I think 14 years now. I still think it's super hot. I'm still not used to it. The heat still messes me up, especially when it's super hot. I get headaches. I get tired. But yeah, I actually like Vegas though.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Now that I got to travel to more states and cities, the more I travel, the more I see other cities, the more I like Vegas.
Nice. Yeah.
Why?
It's a newer city. It's a newer city. For example, I went to Dallas and Houston, and sorry for the people out there, but I didn't like them too much. I just didn't. Food was really good, but other than that, Vegas is like a newer city. I like it. I like it a lot. North Carolina is pretty nice too.
What's really cool out here, like landscape wise, because it's coming from Florida, like it's all flat, so you can't see. I mean, you have the water, but if you're not going to the water every day, you're not seeing it. So out here, you go to the grocery store, gas station, you see mountains everywhere, which is sick because I'm a landscape guy. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
You're a landscaper?
Like my ideal landscape to live in is like mountains and water. Okay. And then at night, you look up and you see like the Milky Way galaxy gases. That's where I'm gonna live. Is
Hell
a place like that.
The Milky Way?
In the Milky Way.
We're just missing the water and the Milky Way here.
Yeah. You didn't bring any bars?
No. Not yet. Do you want to share any of the...
Wait. Before... So how many... Because it matters. Like how many flips have you done? And what else you have done?
So I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, tell us about everything that you have done. Because this boy, he says, I flipped a few deals and everything. He's done it all, and he's done it at a big scale, so...
Bro, when I say I flipped, bro, before.
We've done what?
So one time I was asking this person, like... And she already fucked it up. She was telling me like, hey, I'm a flipper, this and that. And it was before I got into investments.
I know who it is.
You probably know who we're talking about. So I told her like, I'm really interested in learning about flipping. Can you teach me this and that? And then every single conversation will happen that, I'm a flipper, blah, 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 right? And then because I was an agent, and like, hey, I got this one for you. Are you interested in it? Like, we're not flipping right now. And I thought it was like, it's probably a market thing.
Yeah,
like, it's not the right
right
market to flip, right? And then after maybe 6 conversations, I asked her, like, so how many, like, once I got like a little bit more experience about how to do a flip, and I asked her, hey, so how many flips have you done? Oh, 3, like 3 in, I think it was
Last month?
I think it was in the summer when I asked her.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like 3 so far? She said, no, 3 in the last 5 years. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And I was asking her questions like, hey, so how do I do this? How do I do that?
Yeah.
And like 3 in the last 5 years. So, important question: how many flips have you done?
Man, so I don't even know the number, but I know. So I've done over 25. I think I'm at 27 right now.
Okay.
Nice.
But I don't know.
Experience.
I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, I should probably know that. But out of those 27, maybe a handful of them were wholesales. Majority of them were flips. And then I've done, I've renovated and had Airbnbs. I've now sold them, but and we can get into that. When Christian wants to get into that.
That's one of my favorite stories from
One of
you.
those. And then I've done seller finance where I've sold a property, fixed it, sold it, but held the note. I've done a little bit of everything, but I have not done subject to yet, and that's on my radar.
You don't want to do it.
Maybe we'll get into that.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Oh my God.
talked to a lot of people that have done several subject twos.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it
Yeah.
looks.
Everything has its.
You've talked to a few people that done subject to.
Yeah.
Like you guys haven't done subject to.
Yeah, we've done. A couple,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like we just confirmed, like, is it only us that we're having all
Right.
these issues?
Okay. Yeah.
But no, it's everybody.
Yeah. So it all depends how you operate too. I was talking to one guy from he's a leader in North Carolina. His name is Cameron. So I was talking to him about subject twos and the risk that they carry. And it just depends how you want to work it too. So let's just say that you're never fully done with the transaction. So you might be dealing with issues like later down the road, and it just depends how you operate. Unfortunately for me, I do care about my buyers, so I'm gonna try to
And
go the
sellers.
extra mile, and sellers.
And sellers.
So I'm gonna try to go the extra mile to help them out, even when there's no money involved, even when I shouldn't have to deal with it. That's just the type of person you are. But at the same time, if you do a lot of these deals, are you just gonna be like, putting out fire like for the rest of your life, right? A few years after. So that's one of the things you have to understand with subject twos. They carry risk, and that's what a lot of people do not want to touch or talk about, or like really
Touch them.
really touch them.
Yeah, it's like social media, bro. Like you don't see the bad part about
Yeah.
our
Oh,
lives
yeah.
on social media. You only
Yeah.
see the good parts,
That's right.
right?
Yeah. John, now talking about the good parts and the bad parts of flipping and investing, what has been your favorite or best flip that you enjoyed, or that you made a lot of money, or why did you like it?
Yeah. Wow. Taking me back in time now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Neither.
The best. Yeah.
None.
Man, so here's the thing too. Like when I say flip,
Yeah.
right? A lot of the, every majority of people are talking about getting contractors,
Yeah.
going in there, just kind of being your own like GC, like making the project. I think this is cutting out a little bit.
Those are fix and flips. So,
Yeah.
but you're talking about flips, like you
Like this is
buy something,
me.
you resell it immediately.
No, I'm going in there.
So
I'm doing 99% of the work. The only thing I was not touching was like roofs. I would not, I would have a granite quartz guy come in and do countertops, but I would do basically everything else. So,
How long did it take you?
I mean, I would go in there, 30, it was always 30 days. 30 days it was my projection. And man, I would do all-nighters just to make sure it got done.
Jesus, bro.
But it really depended on on obviously how much
Yeah.
work was needed in the property. But
Was it just you working? Or do you have
Yeah.
someone else?
Most time in the beginning for sure.
You're
So
wild, bro.
So I started out like on the foreclosure market back
Okay.
in 2015. I would, I would visit there was an auction at the courthouse, bid on the properties. Some of these were like you could go outside of them, but like you couldn't really go inside of them. So some of them I had no idea what the situation looked like inside. So, but after buying them, I would go in there, renovate them. A lot of the stuff that I learned was just straight up from YouTube. Like
YouTube.
yeah,
YouTube University.
Just that's me. And because I was in the military for 6 years, when I got out. This is what I was wanted to do. My grandfather actually, he was renovating houses on the foreclosure market, so I was fortunate enough to learn how to do that from him.
That's awesome.
But he didn't go in there, like he would do little things, but as far as doing the flooring, and he would just subcontract everything out. And when I got a house, it was like, no, I'm going to do everything. Fast forward to today, that wasn't the best use of my time.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, were you doing everything yourself to save money or time, or why?
Both.
Or you just wanted to learn?
I wanted to learn everything, but at the same time, like I was raised like from a very cheap father. Like dent store, flea market food, like everything. So
Okay.
So that's how I was raised, and that's kind of stuck with me. Like, so it's always like, hey, why am I going to pay this when I can do it?
Yeah.
And he's a hard worker as well. So, I'm a basically got the whole workaholic thing from him and my grandfather.
Let me ask you this question.
Hold on,
Okay, go ahead.
Just to keep going on that. So from there to now, would you change, if you could go back, would you change any of your procedures? And what would you do?
So yeah, one of the things as well in the beginning was, I was told, like, definitely right in the beginning, like from just people that had experienced 08, right? From 06 to 08, when everything crashed. I've had people say like, hey, be careful, don't get into too much, right? So in the beginning, I was like, I'm not going to do this other people's money stuff, because I had my surroundings saying, like, I lost everything because I went too far into it.
To leverage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I've always like been extremely cautious moving forward. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this other people's money stuff, because I had people say like, hey, like, let me give you money. Let's do something. And I'm like, no, like I don't. So I mean, looking back now, I definitely, because I shut it out completely, right? So I would not have done that this time around, like if I did it all over again. The other thing is, after the foreclosure market, that was like kind of, it was easy. Yes, like in 2015, it just got harder, like as the years progressed, because there stopped being a lot of houses for foreclosure on these auctions. And so I went 1 year without having a house, and I was like,
wow.
I can't do this. There has to be another way. So I was also, while I was flipping, I was a pretty big third-party seller on Amazon. So I was like, man, I would be
Amazon too,
dude. Like when I say hustle and workaholic, man, I would get up 7 o'clock, go work on the house, get back, probably 10 o'clock at night, get on Amazon, work till about 2. I had virtual assistants, so I was just, managing, micromanaging and seeing what needed to be done and stuff like that. And then rinse and repeat like the next day. So when I went 1 year without having a house, I was like, I have to do something different. I remember seeing, I would always see those bandit signs out there. And I asked my grandfather one day, I was like, hey, have you ever like called one of those guys before? And he's like, yeah, I bought a house from one of these people before. And I was like, did everything like work out? He's like, yeah, we made money on it and all that. Everything was good. So I was like, interesting. So I started looking up, like, what are these bandit signs? Like, how are these guys getting the houses? And that's when I found wholesaling. And it was actually Cody Sperber.
Okay.
Shout out to Cody.
Yeah. But it was interesting. So I found him through Instagram. And it was a point in my life where I was like, man, I need to surround myself with people that I want to be like, you know, because the whole, you surround yourself, you know, your closest 5 people, if you average that, that's how much income you're making, right? So, and I was always known as, in school, as, hey, this is the guy, this guy's going to be a millionaire, this guy's going to go far, but I didn't really have someone that I felt that with. So I kind of like stopped hanging out with all my friends. And I remember going on Instagram, and I would just go to like really successful people and then follow them. And then I would look at who they were following, and then I'd follow them. And then I just kept doing that. So then my Instagram feed would always be people like surrounding myself, like virtually surrounding myself with those type of people.
Okay.
And
It's a good hack.
I remember
really good.
thinking that, hey, this wholesale thing. And I remember Cody Sperber was actually one of those people that I followed. And I was like, boom, there it is. Like, that's what I need to learn. So I bought his like little wholesale course. And then I'm a really big, like meshing ideas.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking like, well, why don't I have experience with virtual assistants. Why don't I create like a little call center? And so I meshed the whole wholesaling with the call center. So I was like one of the
First.
before people were talking about getting virtual assistants and calling people, like, you know, I meshed that, and I was like, oh, let me do this. So I started. I'm not saying I was the first.
Oh, yeah. Grandfather of cold calling.
The grandfather of vehicle.
With VAs.
So
when was this? How back ago?
this was probably 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like Instagram.
2007.
Because you were talking about 2015.
Yeah.
Like Instagram was on. at that
Yeah.
time? Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like as powerful as it is now.
Facebook was the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, personal branding has become huge like lately. But back then, like, I mean, you were kind of it was still kind of brand new. People like would, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but if you had an Instagram, people would just be like, "That's kind of weird."
Yeah.
Or if you posted a lot, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Facebook was the thing.
even Facebook, I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, so I stopped Facebook, and it was because I would always get into those like rabbit holes on Facebook, and then an hour passed by. I'm like, what the hell did I just do?
Yeah.
So Instagram on the other side was like, you couldn't really get into rabbit holes. It was just like images and people, you know, people with their images and what they would say. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I just stopped being on Facebook and did the whole following the people on Instagram. But yeah, that was probably about 2017, 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from then, once you started your VA wholesaling thing, how did that go?
Yeah, so it went really good. It went really, really well. And I remember the first one that I got, the guy, he called back and he was like, if you're not gonna offer me, this was like in a really bad neighborhood. He's like, if you're not gonna offer me $120,000, don't even bother calling back. So
Called back, right?
So I called back, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know what I can offer you. I need to see the house." And he's like, "Okay, can you come over? Can you come over this day?" We set it up. I went out there, talked with him, built a rapport. I'm like, "Okay, I need to do some more research on this, and I'll get back to you." And he's like, "Do you think it's gonna be over 100?" And I was like, "I don't know, but probably not." And he said, "Well, how much do you think?" And I was like, I have to look into it, but it's probably going to be something like 80,000. And he's like, all right, well, let me know. And so I call him back later that day, and I say, yeah, 80K is all I can do, man. And he's like, all right, well, thanks anyway. And then I'm like, all right. then I get a call at like 11:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Hey, let's do it."
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's how it usually works.
Yeah.
People give up on the first no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just need to keep following up. In this case, he followed up with you.
Yep.
But so tell me about, did he do like any rapport building for that to happen, where he was comfortable enough to call you back and tell like, all right, let's do this, or was it like cut and dry, like just?
Yeah. So I mean, in the appointment, you know, when I go, and that's why, you know, a lot of the properties that I've got, you know, I like to go
In person.
I like to go in person.
Yeah.
And I kind of got that from, because I used to sell life insurance, and
That too.
yeah, but it was because
Yeah.
I grew up like a very shy individual.
Okay.
So I knew if I forced myself into like something like that, I'd get out of my shell.
Yeah.
And it sure as hell did, you know. Like,
Was that a door-to-door job?
so it wasn't like, I mean, they would fill out a form that said, "Hey," it was kind of weird. The leads that we had would present it as if, you know, it was basically mortgage protection. So you buy a house. I'm sure when you guys buy houses, right?
Yeah.
You'll get a little form that comes in the mail. It says mortgage protection. Protect this mortgage just in case you die.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
way your family doesn't have to.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Oh,
So it's just life insurance.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, see?
I had no
So
clue.
people don't know that. So they fill it out because it says, see if you qualify or see how much. You fill it out and send it in, and it goes to a lead or an insurance company that'll call.
That's
or-
funny.
That's the
I know.
SEOs.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, so I learned the whole, you know, rapport building, going in, like what to say, you know, just seeing stuff like in the house, like, oh my gosh, Diet Coke, Christian, dang, I wish I had one of those right now or something, like, you know, like just, you know, just finding anything and talking about it.
Yeah.
And having them talk about it, right? And then just building that rapport. So when I went to that appointment, it was, oh my gosh, his wife ended up being in the Philippines. Well, hey, I go to the Philippines once or twice a year. Really? Boom. Like, I think I even remember I got one of the virtual assistants on the phone. And I was like,
wow.
hey, and they're like, oh, where are you from? And this, so it's just building rapport.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what I've done, basically. But going back to, like, what I would do different is when I looked back of, you know, because I was doing the appointments, and then once I got the house, I would just go in there and do the renovations. And I partnered with my realtor to have it to where she would take over doing the appointments if I was doing the renovations. So when I look back at the numbers, my closing ratio compared to hers was extremely, like 1 out of every 5 houses I would get.
Mm-hmm.
And hers would be like 1 out of every 10, 15.
Okay.
So you're saying realtor sucks?
So what I'm saying is
That's exactly. That's what
I
I'm
would have been better off getting the houses versus being in there renovating them.
100%.
And I could have wholesaled them, or I could have had, you know, crews.
Yeah.
So
Question for you. So like the mindset, I know you said you had that, like that kind of like, I don't want to call it
Scam.
no. You had that thing with the money, right? Like you said, like you come from a family that, you know, they're tight on money. Like, why would I pay for something? if I-
Conservative on
Yeah.
money.
So has that changed in you now, or are there still things that you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna save money and do this? Like, is this still something you carry with you, or have you like done a 180 and just completely like okay, no, I'm not gonna do this?
it's definitely a lot better, but it's still there for sure.
okay.
And even to this day, like, it's still hard for me to be like, you know, I know I can paint the inside and outside of a house in, you know, less than a week, and that would normally cost, you know, $5,000.
Yep.
5-6 grand. So it's like, oh, why don't I do it? You know, and I enjoy doing it as well. So it's like, it's still, but even at that, it's probably still not smart for me to do.
Yeah.
But it also comes where, like, if you find enjoyment in it,
Yeah.
like we spend money to pleasure. Like, for example, go to dinner or I don't know. To me, pleasure, like it comes into my mind, like my nephews and going to amusement parks.
Yeah.
Right. So you spend
Yeah.
money for that, right? So if you're getting pleasure out of it and still getting paid, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much money you can save.
Yeah.
So that's how economics kind of works. Like if it's not smart if you're spending time on it unless you're enjoying it. That's when it makes sense.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, for example, the other day, a pipe got clogged in one of my bathrooms, right? And then, of course, the first thing I think, like, you know what? I should fix it myself. You know, and I was about to type it on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I always use plumbers for all the houses that I have, so why wouldn't I use this for myself? And I'm not like the handiest person ever, so it was probably gonna take me like 2 to 3 hours, and I was probably gonna do it wrong, and I was probably gonna have to hire someone after. So that's one of the things, and I was not gonna enjoy it. I bet you anything, as soon as I started like doing anything, I was like, why did I do this to myself? So, yeah.
And it's always, there's always something that comes up too, because you're always like, oh no, it'll be. Like I remember I did that one time with the house with the painting the outside. I was like, dude, it'd take me 4 hours to paint the outside of this house, and I got it down, you know, with the sprayer, and I go set up everything. Boom, the sprayer's not working.
Yeah.
You have to fix the sprayer, right?
And now I'm fixing the sprayer, and that took me 4 hours in itself. And then it's like, damn, like this is now a whole day thing.
Yep.
Or 2-day thing, and so it's like always something happens as well when you do that.
It's like going to Home Depot to get supplies. Even though you have a list of everything that you need, you always forget something.
There's always something missing, or a specialty tool or something.
So there's nobody ever said, oh, I did one trip to Home Depot and got everything.
No
one ever said that.
No. I learned my lesson too. The HOA complained about a tree that was dead, so I had to plant a tree, right? So then I'm like, you know what? And you know, in my head, I picture myself like, you know, like those guys like just going down and
with no shirt,
making I'm like making a hole. I'm like, I'm gonna be a freaking plant man today, you know, like I'm gonna do this.
It's in my blood.
It's in my blood. Like I have to do this. Like I feel like I could do this.
Yeah.
So then I go to Home Depot, and the first things first, I'm like, I don't even know what tree to ask for. Like, so I'm asking the lady, like the lady tells me what's up. Then I'm like, okay, what tools do I need? So then, of course, like I get the gloves, and then I get every single tool that I thought I needed, right? And then I go to the place in front of my house, and then I'm like pretty much shoveling the stuff. And like, if you guys imagine right now, you guys probably think like shoveling with like a big old like shovel. No, bro, like it was like this little thing that I was using, right? So I'm like going like bro, it's like 3 hours in, and I'm just like still struggling. And then I didn't know this, but in Vegas, as soon as you pretty much dig a hole like pretty much deep enough, you start running into rocks.
Oh, rocks.
Straight rocks, bro. And I don't have anything to hit them to like pretty much crumble them to like pull them out. So I was like, oh my God. 4 hours into it, I'm like, I'm done, bro. So I planted the tree. It's like all outside almost, like of the thing. So I just throw like rocks, I just threw some rocks on top and stuff, and it's still alive. It's still living. But I will never ever do that again. Like and then all the time, all the money that I spent on that, I was like, Jesus Christ! I spent like $160. How much would your guy have charged me?
Bro, I told him, bro, just call my guy. He charges $20.
Bro, I was so mad.
Man, good experience.
Yeah, it was great. Great learning lesson.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good to learn stuff. Like for example, the thing that goes in the sink, what's it called?
Garbage disposal?
The garbage disposal, yeah. Sometimes those things fail. And it's just a button.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
see
just
that.
Yeah.
So
you call your guy out on that. It's like up $200.
$200. I just press the button for you.
Everything good down there? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this out.
Yeah. And they're on the the phone on Instagram. Like, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But no, yeah, I'm definitely, that is one thing looking back, like I can essentially do everything. So it's cool to say that and know that, but sometimes it could get you in trouble, like you just said, because now it could be like, oh, I can do this. I can do, instead of calling this guy out, I'll just do it. So it's really finding that balance between, like you said, if I enjoy doing it and if it's worth it for me to do something like that versus just calling somebody out and having them take care of it.
Yeah, for sure. So, speaking into that, what would be the first thing you say you delegated to somebody else that you did not enjoy doing?
I'll be the calls. I mean, I wanted to do the calls first, like when I was doing bringing the virtual assistants over, and doing the marketing. It was the call. Like I wanted to delegate that immediately. So then after that, I delegated. So then I was just doing the appointment setting. So they would qualify, and then I would call to set the appointment. So then I delegated that, and then so on and so forth. And the only thing I did not delegate was the renovating the house.
The hardest part.
Oh my!
I mean,
God.
I would definitely I would hire guys, to do stuff, and then, they wouldn't show up or something would go wrong.
That's how it is.
It'd mess something up, and then it was like, well, that's why I need to be in here doing it, So
Yeah.
You always give yourself reasons, right?
yeah,
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. Delegating part of stuff.
Delegating is rough.
yeah,
It's hard.
yeah.
You're giving up control as well. So that's the scariest part for everybody.
And
Yeah.
I want to say too, like sometimes like all the work that you do is based on your decision, so you could take full ownership of that, right?
Yep.
So let's say if I underwrite a deal and I underwrite it wrong, and then I mess up, then it's on me, right? But now if you delegate it to someone else and you fully trust that person, if you don't check the numbers, go through that deal, like I mean you're not going to blame it on the person, but you're gonna give yourself the reason, like I should have been underwriting that deal,
Right.
or I should have been doing that. Yeah.
100%.
Pure love.
I want you to talk about deals specifically. I know you had an Airbnb
Yes. Yeah.
in Florida, so and that one's probably one of my favorite stories just because it's so random. We used to run Airbnbs here in Vegas, and you always get cool stories or weird stories, interesting stories, but I think you have some of the best stories that I've heard with different properties. So could you tell us a little bit about that property in Florida?
Yeah, so I ended up getting this is off of the marketing that I was doing with the virtual assistants. I ended up buying a house. I was going to renovate it. I was actually going to make that an Airbnb. And with my current living situation at the time, things kind of fell through. So I was like, you know what? This is a good area. It's like 10 minutes from the beach. I'm just gonna go ahead and live in it. So that's the first one that I was gonna live in and renovate it at the same time I was living in. So I went ahead, bought it, got a mortgage on that one, started living in that one, and I was at a point where I was like, man, I am chasing these people to get deals.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this was about 3 months while I was in that house. I remember thinking, I'm chasing these people to get deals. I want it to be the other way around. I want them to come to me. And I'm a real big power of thought. What you think about, you bring about,
Yeah.
type of guy. And I remember thinking this, and like that same week, my neighbor, I've been in the house for like three months now. Haven't met my neighbor yet on the left side of my house. And he says, he comes over and he says, hey, John, or obviously he doesn't know my name yet.
Your neighbor.
But yeah, he just says, hey, I'm your neighbor. We meet, introduce each other, and he says, do you know anybody that flips houses. We're thinking about selling. I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, okay, well, do you want to give me an offer? And I was like, bam, like, dang, like that. This next week, I was just talking about somebody coming to me saying, hey, do you want to buy my house? And there he is, and I was like, okay, yeah. So I check everything out, put the offer on. He accepts. Like, he didn't want to deal with realtor. He had to move to Oregon. He didn't want to deal with stuff falling through. He didn't want to deal with any of that stuff. So ended up buying that house, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe this will be the Airbnb, because I essentially just moved into the one that I was thinking to be the Airbnb. And I'm like, it would be perfect, right next door. So I got it. Really, I mean, as is, was good enough to be on an Airbnb. So I just furnished it. I cut a gate in between the fences so I could walk through, because, of course, you guys know who managed, cleaned, and did everything for the Airbnb, right?
Delegated that.
No. Yep. First night, I stayed up. I pulled an all-nighter. I steamed the sheets, so there was no wrinkles in the sheets. Dude, like, thinking back now, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? So I had this Airbnb right next door. It was awesome. Like, I would do laundry in my laundromat. Yeah, my washer dryer and the Airbnb washer and dryer, so I'd get it done quicker. Oh my gosh. So one day I get a call from my neighbor, and she's across the street, and she's like, John, what are the cops doing outside your house?
Is this the house you lived in or the Airbnb?
Well, she calls me, and she just says, hey, what are the cops doing outside your house? And we mess around sometimes, so like I peek out the window, I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? There's no cops out here. And then it kind of like, I open up the door and I walk outside, and I see my street is just lined with blacked out SUVs. And it ended up being the DEA raided my Airbnb.
Oh, wow.
Because the guest was doing a drug deal, and they were following this guy, had a warrant for him and everything. And I talked to another neighbor later on in that day, and they were like, John, it was like out of the movies. Like, I was driving home and I saw them running and tackling a guy on the road. And I was like, oh my gosh. But out of the people that they got, the one that they were there to get jumped the fence in the back and actually got away.
Through the gate?
Yeah. Through the gate, yeah, through my gate.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So then at that point, I was like, Airbnb shut the listing down.
No way.
VRBO shut the listing down. I tried to contact both of them. They ghosted me. Like, no one would get a hold of me. I did finally get a hold of one person, and all they said was like, was police involved? I said, yes. That's all they said was like, hey, was there police involved in whatever happened? And I said, yes. And then they stopped messaging me. And so here I was. I have a house with a mortgage on it, and I'm not able to pay it. So it's like, we put the trust in these platforms that they can pull it at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I know you guys have had a similar, not a DEA situation.
Yeah, not a DEA situation, but yeah.
I had one time where I'm thinking they were filming X-rated videos.
I mean, they like using vacation rentals.
So if you ever see a video and recognize your house, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I've been trying to find them, and I can't find them.
Were there any upside down pineapples involved?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know.
No, I'm not sure.
So there was some
that would have confirmed it,
right? There was like 3 girls that reserved a condo that I had.
Yeah.
And they reserved for like 3 nights. So, because I have a Ring camera outside, and I could see that like a filming crew came in. It was probably like 8 people.
Yeah.
Inside the house. I
Yeah.
I never knew what it was, but like, I mean, the girls were not ugly. They were pretty, and that's my first assumption. Like, they were recording. So the next day, I tell my detailing crew to go in there and just steam clean everything, just to make sure. I want my 5-star review on it.
Oh, man.
Man, that happened.
No, there's definitely different stories for everything, you know, and I think Airbnb and has brought some really interesting stories to everyone. But the DEA and that, when you told me that, I just couldn't believe it. And of all the houses they could have caught this guy, they definitely had to like pretty much catch him at yours, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty crazy.
What else have you done, John? Just the wholesaling, the flips, and Airbnb?
Oh no, he hasn't. Well, I don't want you to talk about, if you don't want to, about like the crypto thing. But I know you were involved in crypto stuff too. Like John is in everything. I didn't even know about the insurance part or the Amazon. So you've done it all.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this question: why have you ever tried an MLM?
So essentially, that life insurance company
What's kind of
was MLM. Yeah.
Which company is it? Can you say it or no?
National Agents Alliance.
Okay.
Heard of that one.
I did kind of say I tried Primerica too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So the structure was very like MLM.
Yeah.
You know, you bring people in, you get a percentage of their.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the insurance organizations are like that.
Yeah.
Or the marketing organizations.
I honestly don't have anything against MLMs. Like it works for some people really well. It's just another way of doing business, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's good or bad. Whatever works for the person.
It's just they have bad rep because you recruit people, and I don't know if people think that it's an easy business. It's not. It's selling.
Yeah.
Selling is not easy, and it's not meant for everybody. So people start dropping, and they start blaming the person that recruited them in the first place.
Yeah. If the product or what the company is about, if you can make money from the product alone,
Yeah.
like there's no issue. But if you're making money from recruiting and that's the only point of it,
Yeah. That's where it that's where it's bad. What has made you try to find so many different ways to make money? What do you think?
just always interested in what's out there,
Okay.
trying new things, getting new skills. Always, I was talking about this with my buddy the other day. It's like I don't even really listen to music anymore. It's like all audiobooks, always becoming a better person. How can I be the next version of myself? So I think maybe that's where it stems from, is just seeing that, or basically.
And now a deeper question. Do you think you'll ever be satisfied?
Probably not, because there's always chance to grow.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. And I think you have to be okay with that, right?
Yeah.
Just running that dissatisfaction while accomplishing things, and just keep on running with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Do you want to get to the
questions? Yeah. So these questions, he picked them. So I saw one that was like, why would he pick this one? So one of the questions that you pick is like, would you travel to space if possible?
Hell yeah, man.
Why?
Just because, like I was saying at the beginning, my landscape with the Milky Way in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Just, I've always been infatuated with space and, how many galaxies there are out there. Like in our Milky Way galaxy, there's billions of stars, just like our sun, right? But also, there's billions of galaxies. There's more galaxies out there than there are grains of sand
The beach. Yeah.
on the Earth.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
But also, like, I've definitely been doing, like, I do meditation, and I practice meditation, and a lot of the times I'll envision myself going, like, floating up from where I'm at into space, and just one, you can look back at Earth and see really how small we are. So like our problems are really not that big,
Yeah.
right? So whatever we're facing, like a simple phone call, like it's not.
It's insignificant.
Yeah. So we're putting so much energy behind that when really it's just like, you know. And then the other side of it is just to look out and see how vast the universe is, and that we're a part of something that's much larger than ourselves.
That's deep, man. And I relate to that. Kind of like realizing sometimes we make big issues out of small things, right? Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit personal with this one.
Yeah.
And I think I've talked about it before. So there was a family issue that I was facing, and I really thought it was like big and the end of the world or whatever. There was a family issue with one of my friends, right? I didn't want to be in the middle of it, but of course I was, because I wanted everyone to be happy. I wanted everyone to like get along, right?
Yeah.
And I remember for a whole week I would just like, it was pretty much bugging me, it was constantly in my mind. Then I think it was on a Sunday, a drunk driver crashes into my cousin's car and he kills him, right? So he dies, and then I think a month after, I lost my first baby. So in that moment I was like, I wish I could have gone back to that week where the worst thing that was happening was like that issue that was like family and my friend issue.
Yeah.
So sometimes like, and that's, I think I mentioned it like last podcast, you could be living your best years of your life right now. You just don't realize it.
Right.
So stop getting mad at retarded stuff and like pay attention to what you have right now. Be grateful.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put it black.
What do you think about the thing I said last time? It was like that earth and heaven. With what the Bible says, it's what you make it. So you can create
Right.
your heaven. You can create your hell. So, and if you interpret the Bible that way, like it kind of makes sense. Like if you do good things, you go to heaven, but you're living in heaven, right?
Yeah.
Versus you do bad things and you're gonna suffer. So you built your own hell while you're living.
Yeah, two things on that. So like Einstein said, we need to ask ourselves this question: do we believe that we live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe? He said this is one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves, because it's that mindset that's going to bring about those situations. So if we believe we're in a friendly universe, then we're going to see all the friendly stuff, right? If we believe we're in a hostile universe, we're going to see all the hostile stuff. And what you focus on expands. So if you're focused on the hostile, more hostile events are going to happen to you. And that's what you're going to experience, because that's what you believe.
Yeah. Talking about, I guess, peace and hostility. Let me ask you this question, and you too. So, I'm bringing it back to real estate and transactions. So there was that situation, where, I want to say, things happen, right? Like between parties or whatever, but we never acted in a way that was hostile or bad or anything like that, but the other party was acting that way. So when someone's acting in a hostile, in a evil way towards you, how do you react? I know you're more of a peaceful guy.
Yeah.
Right. I know you kind of assume people are gonna act in a certain way, but in a good way, you know, that they're gonna come from like a good side, from a positive side. But it has been to my experience, and I want to say lately, most people do, not most people, but they things don't always go like that. So how do you react to those things?
Yeah, I think one of something that I'm a big advocate of now is everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
So whatever situation we're facing, we don't know what that reason is yet.
Okay.
Right? And I've had events that have happened to make me realize that. You know, my very first house that I bought was actually my childhood house, and it burned down, which at that moment was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I lost everything. The only thing I had was my backpack, because I was in Jacksonville at the time with the military, and I got a text message from my neighbor like at 3:00 in the morning, and she was like, "I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "What? For what?" And she, like, it came with a picture, and I just saw the house, but it was like, I don't even remember. I couldn't make out what it was, and I was like, "What is she talking about?" But at the time, like, I lost everything. My dad's, my dad was a big Mustang collector, so he had a 69. He would collect 69, 70 Boss Mustangs.
Yeah.
And I had the very first car that started the collection. It was in my house. I got, it was mine at that point. And I lost all of that. But even though that was a really tough time, looking back now, that was like the best thing that ever happened to me. So in situations like that, where that's what I look at now, when anything is happening, that's what I do my best to do, right? Is, whoa, wait a second, everything happens for a reason. What is the positive in this? What could be why this is happening right now?
Yeah.
And trying to, hey, friendly universe type, right? Like, what is the positive in this? And it's all about alchemy, right? Turning lead into gold. So this is a hostile situation, but what's the positive in this, right? And focusing on that positive, finding that positive, and turning that lead into gold. And that's how I go about life now. So whenever those situations happen, I stay pretty calm, but it's a practice. We still grow. Like, I'm sure I'll get triggered, but I'm really good now at flipping the switch and turning it around, and like, what's the positive in this? And the other thing that I'll do now for those people is, like, I'll always, like, you always talk about like the golden rule, doing to others how you want to be treated,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And that's my company name. That's in my company name. My grandfather instilled that in me. We always talk about like doing to others. We always want to do good deeds, and it'll come back. However, nobody really talks about like our thoughts as well, right?
Right.
So anytime something negative, like someone projects that on me, I turn around and I'll do my best to see them in their most ideal self or ideal situation. So even if they are talking bad about me or something like that, I'll just, boom, in my mind, I'm putting something positive in their life.
Okay.
And because that's a part of what really should be with the golden rule. It's like, it's not just what we do for each other, but it's our thoughts
And that's
for
hard.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So on that same thing, like what I've been telling you before, like when something bad happens to us,
Yeah.
I tell them like, just wait for it. Something good is gonna
Yeah.
happen. Because in my mind, or I like to believe that the universe, God will balance things out. So if something bad happens to you, something really good is about to happen, because it needs to balance out.
Yeah.
So that's my belief on that. I've been telling you this forever.
Oh man,
Yeah.
John, I'm gonna
Listen.
have to sit with myself and think about. No, thank you, man. No, it's hard. It's hard because there's a lot of, I would say, negative things. Really shocking things have happened, right? So it's just like, I couldn't even imagine right now the strength it takes to like pretty much sit down, kind of feel triggered by that person, but you still find a way to see that person in a positive light.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
One thing that I like to say now is, if you ever been in situations where it doesn't make sense,
Yes.
it's because what's happening behind the scenes isn't like in this sense-based reality, right?
Okay.
So I'll always use that as like, hey, this doesn't make sense. And it's like, boom, well, hey, there's a higher purpose, there's a higher reason of why this doesn't need to make sense. So so I would say like the second biggest thing that happened to me that at the time was like a tragedy is my relationship with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
We were best friends. Like we went to elementary school together. He actually, when my house burnt down, I moved in with him.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I started doing the flipping at that point. And so I told him, like, we worked so well together as roommates that I was like, hey, why don't I, instead of just, I just bought this foreclosure house, instead of me going and living in that, why don't we just, we just stay here. We continue to be roommates, and I'll just fix and flip that. And so I did that. And I told him, if, like during the whole process, I'll get him a bigger house. We'll fix and flip his, and then, he can live in that bigger house. He can have the equity, all that. So I did that for him, and at the end of everything, I think the house that I got for him was like a $330,000 house, but I got it for him for $220,000.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask for anything. I didn't say, hey, give me money on this, right? It was just because we're good friends since elementary school, and I wanted to see him succeed. I wanted to see, and my plan eventually was for him to take that equity out and for him to start doing what I was doing. Yeah. And so he ends up getting back with his girlfriend. His girlfriend moves in, and I think a year later, he comes to me and he says, John, we think you're not contributing enough.
To what?
To the living expenses.
Oh, and this is in the big house.
Yeah, in the big house, the $330,000 house I got for $220,000.
Bro, women are evil, bro. Bet you anything it was a girlfriend.
So this is where I was like, okay, that's when I had that going back to the house that I was gonna make my Airbnb. I ended up going to, I was like, hey, you know what? If you guys don't feel that way, like nothing made sense. I was like, how does this make sense? I tried like all up and down. I even like presented to him all the numbers, and I said, so you're not saying I'm contributing enough? Like, look at how much like you made.
Look at where you're sitting at.
Yeah. And it still was just like, to him, it was like, you're still not contributing enough. And I'm like, it did not make sense at all.
Yeah.
But that was the second best thing for me, because after that point, like I started going, like I had so many houses at one time, like I had to go out and I had to use other people's money.
Yes.
And it put me in a situation where I had to do things. And now with everything that I learned from that experience, it makes me who I am now today, and the tools that I have now today. Because if I would have kept living in kind of like a, being too cautious, being extremely conservative, like too much, like, so what that created for me was like, that's the second biggest thing. And now we're cool now, because I went to his wedding and basically same girlfriend. But basically, because I know that, and I don't fault him for that. Even to this day, I don't even know if he probably still feels that, but it didn't make sense at the time. And I know that when things don't make sense, you don't have to make the sense of it. You just know that something is following, like Gio was saying, that is going to be the reasoning for it.
That's
everything
huge.
happens for a reason.
Shout out to that friend and the girlfriend.
That's huge, man. That's
love you.
Oh man. Yeah, it gave me a lot to think about today, man.
I never thought about it though, like that, where things don't make sense.
Yeah,
it never came. It was never in my equation. Like, all right, this is gonna happen because of that.
Yeah. So that's always my new trigger is like, man, this isn't making sense. Well, boom, there's a higher reason. Oh, awesome! I'm excited to see what that higher reason is.
And, and you know what? That makes, I'm gonna say it makes a lot more sense, just because there's been situations or things that you see or that you're into, and you're just like, this doesn't make any type of sense whatsoever. But like you said, is something bigger coming.
Yeah, you always look back, and it's always best to like, you have these little like I call them faith builders, like events that happen in your life like that. And you look back at them now and you're like, oh, that had to happen because of this. That happened because of this. And then once you like establish those faith builders, now it's going to help you in your next situation. To be like, wow, this is happening. This has to happen for me to get to that next level. I don't know what that next level is yet, but this is what's going to get me there.
Yeah.
And, even, Steve Jobs in his commencement speech, he talks about, you're into, like, you always, like, you'll connect the dots later. Like, follow your intuition and what you want to do. You look back and you'll connect the dots later.
Okay.
Got it. So how does that apply into your business?
So, I mean, it's...
Do you even consider it, or just let it happen? It's like, whatever happens, is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, just in those like if situations like that or something doesn't go your way, right? That's where my mind goes immediately. It's like, hey, this happens. This is happening for a reason. I'm gonna find out what it is. I might not know yet. Just patience. Yeah.
Patience grows helper.
And then you could say the good.
Do you track these events, for example, just to reference them back?
I need to. I mean, the big ones though, I do my best. Like I was saying, with having those faith builders, like thinking about them from time to time, and stacking them to where like, boom, this actually is true. This actually does happen because this, and this. So having that stack will help you, because in the beginning it's not easy, because you'll always go back to the old self. But if you can create like a mental switch in your mind to go immediately to, boom, no, those events. Remember those events? Remember, I was kind of feeling this on those in the beginning of these situations, and look what happened.
Yeah. Shizzle.
That's big.
With the
Super out of time, but
Dang.
I'm gonna give it to you.
He's lacking on the sound effects.
Man.
Yeah, so what's the goal for this year?
Man. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of, I stopped for 2 years. I stopped buying, just the market. I was like, hey, I've been told about this whole time. Like, this is it. This is going to be the drop. And nope, it just went the other way. Right.
Yeah.
And
we thought that too.
It probably should have been naturally, it probably should have been, but with the things that were done, it was kind of artificially created.
That's one of the things that did not make sense.
Yep.
And we learned from that.
So I stopped, but I started doing I was really good at marketing and getting the houses. So I started doing the SEOs. I started doing search engine optimization and getting leads for small businesses. And now I'm meshing that with the real estate. So at the same time I was building all that, started building the websites for my real estate, and that's starting to pick up right now, as you guys know.
Yeah,
So,
that's what we know.
Do you do you provide these services to other people? Like, can other people reach out to you
Yeah.
for that? Like for, I don't know, leads or websites
Yeah, so-
or that?
Yeah, so we'll do leads for small businesses as one service, and as long as we're able to, like we'll tell you, depending on our research, if we're going to be able to provide those leads for you. And then the other one is building a website and doing search and engine optimization.